if any student who is aiming to get into such big companies, be it Flipkart, be it any other big, are there any particular skills they should be focusing on?
I always says to everyone, DSA is the one of the key factors to get shortlisted.
How often or how much of importance does DSA and competitive learning play in their entire 4 years degree program?
So coming to that, I said that should be the first priority for each and every
Okay.
student, rather than having a project until we crack the rounds, which is the importance, and that's where the DSA kick in.
So that's the priority they should be focusing on. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode where we have another industry expert joining in School of FutureTech. So this side is Sneha, and I'm very glad to introduce you all to Mr. Avinash Kumar, and he is a senior or software senior
Software engineer.
software engineering too at Flipkart. So, first of all, thank you so much, Avinash. You have taken your time, Saturday that too, and came to ITM Skills University and have taken time to interact with our students. So, first of all, thank you for that. And second thing, even before we go ahead with any of the questions or anything or any insights, we would want to know your journey from where you started, what motivated you to at what level you are right now. So how did this whole thing take place?
Okay, first of all, I'm thankful that you have me here. So it was like a random, I can say I am here, to be exact. Okay, till my 10th career, I was interested in science, mostly in computer science. When our college projects has been started, I was interested. When I went my 12th, I was lagging behind in physics and chemistry. So
Okay.
I thought to start my new career as a computer science where nothing is holding me back. I can start myself, and as I have seen myself more and more interested in computer science, so started my career as here. So it was nothing special that I have came for any big institute or anything have such that. So it was pure hard work. And the thing which I achieved till now is, after achieving something, the first thing which I did is again doing a hard work, because when we stop somewhere, it is like the last thing we see. After that, our growth, self growth starts stop there.
Yeah, that's great, sir. So at the end of the day, we just have to stay motivated and
Yes.
keep working hard so that some or the other day we will reach our goal.
Correct.
So, was it like from the very beginning you were so keen about computer science that you had decided कि नहीं मुझे जाना है तो it is computer science engineering only?
So first, I was keen interest in maths.
Okay.
I was given some of the maths Olympiad where I couldn't be. Got first rank in my college schools itself.
Okay.
So it was a backslash. So after that, when I got my first laptops gifted by my father.
Okay.
So my father has just assigned a tutor to me to work with Microsoft Words and know the basics. Because
Okay.
at that time he doesn't know about the
Yes,
coding.
yes, it was very something new.
So we started with that, and when our school projects came up, mostly it happens in the Decembers.
Yes.
So at that time we have to present something, and we did some of the science project, but after certain times I was not winning anything. So went with the computer science, as in that department the participation was very less. So you
Okay.
can call me a fortunate or lucky कि I have taken that as my point where I should get some prize. So willingly or unwillingly, I got interested. I built my first clone website at that of my
Okay.
10th, same as what my schools were having. So that's where I got the first prize, and I was getting, yeah, this is the field where I'm getting interested. And as soon as I went through and when came to the college and started coding, because somewhat I always has fascinated that how these systems are coming up and
Yeah.
working, what is really behind this one. As I was also interested in electrical engineers, I do most of the electrical engineering works in my home.
Okay.
So that's I known, but computer science is something that I have never thought for a side ki how it's really internally working. So it's got me interested, and when I started learning, it's again dragged me inside ki I want to explore more and more. So it's just went through my keen interest.
Everything just went with the flow and you
Yes.
went ahead ki okay, however the flow is going, I'll go
Correct.
with it. That's nice. That's nice. I mean, you also had an interaction session with our students, first and second year students.
Yes.
So, can you tell me like how was the aura when you met them?
So I can say the first time the aura which I seen in the students are much more different than what I had initially thought and what I have done in my previous seminars. So they were much more interactive, I can say, and everyone was very silent when I was saying something, which is
Okay.
very rare to see in a large
Yeah.
seminars.
Yeah. So, like, do you think them being in the first year itself, they might be aware of many languages and already many stuff regarding the tech and trends, right? So, do you think these students were able to cope up with what you had a session on?
So most of the students were known. Some of the examples which I given and some of the industries name which I raised, so they were well known about that.
Okay.
So that's make me easier to make them understand what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say, because I
Okay.
didn't have to explain that things to them.
From the basics, you didn't had to explain them
Yes.
much. Okay. And like in our program, the entire 4 years degree, these students have specializations they will be choosing in their fourth year. Now, the options are AI, ML, AR, VR, data science, Web3, blockchain, cybersecurity. Now, looking at the trends, you are more towards something who is working in that field and right now knows what is trending. So, do you think other than these, there is something we should add in for the students to know?
So the two things which I said them, the trends which are going now is
Yeah.
good enough to know, but
Yes.
also have to be a keen observer of other markets. When we are talking about India, India is well enough competitive with the other countries, but I still think that we are lagging behind from exactly what the Silicon Valley is at. By calling the Bangalore as a Silicon Valley of India, and still not up to the mark that what really Silicon Valley is doing. So I suggested them to have some of the podcast and also videos of the some of the YouTubers which they stay there, try to give an overall ideas that what's the current roles they are going on. So
You are working currently with Flipkart, so it manages a large scale of consumers over there, right? So, did y'all ever face any bugging or any, like system crash हो जाता है जैसे? So, did y'all face anything in terms of these things? Like ऐसा कोई major problem हुआ है कभी?
yes, it happens mostly in big billion days. These
Okay.
problems comes, but
Okay.
till now, how much the Flipkarts came from 2007 till here, they have already solved major of the problems. And before going for any sales, we do a thorough testing, load testings or any other type of such testings we have internally. We do a huge amount of testing for that, so that we doesn't get any bug. But still, we face from the some of the banking sites because they
The
were
transaction side.
yes.
My next question was on that ki when y'all have these big sales and all going on, so the transaction is to the very upper limit and people are just transacting, and also usme have you ever faced any problems or delays or any other issue?
Yeah, so we have faced delays, but not from the Flipkart side. So some
Okay.
of the bankings are still unable to cope with the huge demands
Okay.
because we redirect them to their banking websites
Yes,
to do the
yes,
payments,
yes,
and
yes.
they were unable to handle.
So it was the bankers' side who got crashed,
Yes.
and hence, so did it ever affect like the Flipkart's sales or anything during those times? Does it affect it in that way?
So that data I don't have till now, so I can't give any.
Sure, no issues, no issues. If any student who is, aiming to get into such big companies, be it Flipkart, be it any other big, maybe fintech companies, so are there any particular skills they should be focusing on?
So as per current market standard, either it is a fresher or experience. I always says to everyone, DSA is the one of the key factors to get shortlisted. If we are getting experience, we get other system designs, machine coding rounds. But from a fresher still experienced persons, the first round is mostly, or any round, there will be a round where the coding questions will be asked. It matters that some of the position might have some less harder questions and some of the position might having a difficult, too difficult questions to be asked. If I will be giving an examples, the front end where get very minimum type of questions to do some problem statements where we go to a backend or we go to a blockchain developments. At that time, the questions are very difficult to be solved because that's where the challenges are handling a system from a backend side, and the key problem solving skills kick in there.
Okay, so maybe these students being a fresher, how often or how much of importance does DSA and competitive learning play in their entire 4 years degree program?
So coming to that, I said that should be the first priority for each and every
Okay.
students. Rather than having a project, that is a secondary party. We can have a project that's good enough for getting shortlisted, but until we crack the rounds, which is the importance, and that's where the DSA kick in.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether that is a startups or big MNCs. Each and every companies have their own DSA rounds, and they will ask that.
So that's the priority they should be
Yes.
focusing on. Okay. And any advice that you would have given to your younger self?
Yeah, so the same advice I might have given, ki go with more graph questions in a DSA. That's where in the start of my career I lagged and I missed some of the great opportunity at the start itself. So that's the same I will be giving myself.
Okay. So as I said, ki there is a big competition, especially in the engineering field. Now, if any student wants to cope up and wants to stand alone or stand out of that huge crowd and get into these top companies, top tech companies, what is something these students should focus? It's either networking or it's either connection or their projects, or what is that something they can do something different from others to stand out ki okay, this is something ki unko zyada preference mile.
So coming to your previous 2 points, networking and connection.
Yes.
So nowadays everyone are doing networking using
Yes,
LinkedIn. I
yes.
myself get daily 100 to 200 requests when I joined a particular website. I don't want to promote that, so I won't be giving them. So I daily get that request, ki, hey, please forward my resume to your organization. So networking is not a key factor now. You can connect with anyone from any industry and you can ask, they will give us. The second thing is ki projects are much more getting common for each and every students, and there are chat gpts, other ais which most of the students are just reusing it, asking them to write and
Right.
doing it. So again, I will be saying that project is one of the key factors. Try to do by themselves from the scratch if it's possible. Use the help of chat gpt, that's not a problem, but where you got too much stuck or you are unable to find out the exact answer, and try to solve after seeing itself. The second thing, the last thing is the competitive. So when you go for CodeSafe, Code, HackerRank, HackerEarth, so from the start, for the scratch, I said, if you want to start any coding, so the HackerRank and HackerEarth is the best platform. If you want to go for a competitive coding, CodeSafe and CodeForces are best. So
Okay.
when you mention that what is the ranking you have or what level you are having at that particular platforms, that's create a impact in your resume.
Okay, okay. And now the students over here, they've got the privilege that they have their own MacBook. Then their whole studies are happening on that MacBook itself. They have their own LinkedIn and GitHub profile from the first year itself, mandatory, because we've made it sure ki you will be marked on how you perform on your GitHub and LinkedIn as well. So, do you think after 4 years, these platforms that they are right now on and the way they are practically learning, it will help them to stand out a bit different compared to many others?
Yeah, so LinkedIn and GitHub is not at all going anywhere. We have to reuse it and it will be always in the market. Which the one thing which I will be suggesting is ki instead of just pushing your code in the GitHub, try to publish that one in any of the cloud service
Cloud
provider.
services, okay.
So when I see a resume, when I get a resume to view, so it's mostly a digital. So each and every resume gets not more than 5 seconds to view.
Oh,
That's how the resume begins. In one day, more than 10,000s. If it is in a big tech company, if we release any form, that's how much we get. So we can't view each and every one. So when we give a link, that's okay, this is my live project. Sometimes we give a extra time to just see how much effort he has done, because a single resume can't explain fully that
Everything.
how much he did.
right.
So for us freshers, if he has published some project somewhere, we can go interact. if there is something logging, after that some new features are there, try to give their user ID and password a template to view how the internal operations are done, so that it will be helpful for interviewer itself to find out how much he have developed, and I can get to know how internally he knows.
Got it, got it. So coming to that same question regarding hiring, when y'all actually look for freshers to join into your company, are these things that y'all ask the freshers to have in, like in terms of, qualities and skills when you hire someone? Are these particular skills that you look into, or is it someone else as well, like something else as well?
So for a freshers, major companies, not only me, look for DSA.
A DSA.
How much he is good with problem solving skills, because we know that if that person has good enough understanding of DSA, he has mindset of problem solving skills, so making him understand any language won't be a difficult, because he has came up with the basic knowledge of C,
Basic
C++, Java, Python. That is compulsory for each and every institute. So he have to only teach us how depth you know that one. So DSA is one of the key factors.
Okay. Now we'll move on to the rapid fire questions. I'll ask you 5 to 6 questions. One of your favorite programming language?
Java.
Java. Okay. One coding mistake that you did, you will never forget.
I haven't done a coding mistake, but it's like I was doing coding in C++ and I have applied to PayPal,
Okay.
and it was Java developer role, which I missed out.
Okay.
And that time I have solved that problems both, but unfortunately they were asked me to do this code in Java because they were hiring for Java developers. So
Okay.
that was the biggest mistake which I still face.
Okay. Any MNC or a startup?
It depends.
Depends.
Yes. What
Okay.
you want to.
Most overrated tech trend that you think, especially in today's life?
None of the trends are overrated. The AIs are usually in demands, and we can say that it's still a kickstart. So there are still demands are coming up. So that some might say that it is overrated, but seeing the futures, it might not be overrated. I can't give a full assumption. Coming to the others, everything are good enough. Markets are there. Jobs opportunities are there. Just it's get much more competitive. The reason behind is more and more students
Right.
are coming up in the same
Yeah.
tech.
Got it. And what is your go-to stress-busting activity? Like you want to get away from your work and just release all your stress.
So most of the people don't like to listen this one, but I use some of my personal projects to get my peace
Oh,
time, because
that's
there
nice.
where I give my most of the time in, that's helped me to solve some of the problems.
Are you a movie or a series person?
Movie.
Movie. And morning person or a night owl? Like
Morning person.
morning person. And tea or a coffee person?
I don't drink both. I don't
Okay,
prefer.
that's good actually. Even I don't drink both. So, and a piece of advice that you received in your younger days, a good piece of advice.
Yeah, so I will be giving the name exactly. His name is Ankur. So he has given in my second year of my career, as since my full-time jobs, it doesn't matter where you are a freshers or where you are a developers. Always do coding in your life.
Okay, got it. So, any last piece of advice you would like to give to the students as a wrapping part?
So as I said, always the coding is the key factor to land any jobs. Either it is a freshers, it is a experienced person, or it is in from IITs, non-IITs. It doesn't matter. Coding is one of the factor. You have already seen multiple companies can hire different branch students.
Right.
So there also they doesn't see what your certifications are. They see, do you have a coding skills? Do you know what you want to do? So go with that.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having me.
much. It was an insightful session. Thanks a lot.